Let me ask you something. Have you ever felt something shift inside you before your life changed in a way you couldn't have imagined? Maybe it was a whisper in your heart, a dream that wouldn't let go, a moment of stillness in the chaos. And somehow you knew something was coming. You see, before every miracle, before the breakthrough, before the healing, before the dream manifests into matter, God always sends signs, but most people miss them. Why? Because we're conditioned to only trust what we can see, touch, measure. We think life is happening to us, but in truth, it's responding through us. Let me take you deeper. Your body is a living antenna. Every thought you think, every emotion you feel, broadcasts a frequency. You're not separate from God or the universe or source. Call it what you will, you're entangled in it. And the moment you begin to think and feel differently, you begin to attract differently. But before the miracle arrives in your physical world, it always knocks on the doors of your inner world. That restlessness you've been feeling, that pull to leave the job, end the relationship, start creating again. That's not anxiety, that's alignment, that's the divine guiding you saying, prepare yourself. Before the seas parted, Moses had to walk. Before the walls of Jericho fell, they had to shout. Faith isn't passive. It's not waiting, it's walking forward when your senses say nothing's happening. But something is happening, always, because in the invisible there is already motion. Let's talk science for a moment. When your brain and heart enter coherence, when you stop obsessing about the past or projecting fear into the future, you begin to tune in, and that's where miracles are born, not from desperation, but from alignment, from becoming the kind of person who already lives in the reality you seek. You want healing, start embodying gratitude before the disease disappears. You want abundance, start giving like you already have more than enough. You want love, become the frequency of unconditional love yourself, and it must meet you. These are the signs, not flashing lights or burning bushes, but an inner knowing, a quickening, a sense of resonance that you can't explain. God whispers through synchronicity, that stranger who says exactly what you needed to hear, that book that falls off the shelf at the right moment, that sudden burst of energy after months of fatigue. The small decisions you make in obedience to the nudge, those are your yes. That's how you tell the universe, I'm ready. And here's the thing, the miracle isn't coming, it's already here, you just have to meet it. Not with your five senses, but with your awareness. Because the moment you become aware of something greater, you become a vessel for it. So I challenge you. The next time you feel lost, still yourself and ask, what is God trying to show me right now? Listen, because before the Red Sea parts, the waters will tremble. Before the doors open, you'll hear the lock click. Pay attention to your dreams, to your tears, to the joy that doesn't make sense. These are the signs before the miracle. God never leaves a masterpiece unfinished, and you, my friend, are a miracle in motion. God sends inner signs before outer miracles appear. These signs are subtle, often overlooked, and rarely arrive with fanfare. Instead, they come as shifts in your inner world, whispers in your heart, changes in your perception, or sudden clarity about a situation you've been struggling with. Before your reality changes, you change. That's how the divine works. It prepares your inner environment to receive what is coming. If the miracle arrived before you were ready for it, you wouldn't recognize it, and you wouldn't know how to hold it. So the preparation must begin within. You might feel restless without knowing why, or compelled to forgive someone even though they haven't apologized. You may be nudged to let go of something you once thought you needed, or feel drawn to places, people, or practices that weren't previously part of your life. These aren't random events. They're spiritual breadcrumbs guiding you toward alignment with something greater. They're tuning your frequency to match what you've been praying for. The reason so many people miss these signs is because they're looking for evidence outside, waiting for the job, the relationship, the healing to show up in their external world. But the outer is just a mirror of the inner. When your inner world begins to shift, when you feel lighter, when you start acting with trust rather than fear, this is not imagination. It's the beginning of the manifestation. God always works from the inside out, And before the doors open, before the healing happens, before the breakthrough arrives, something inside you will be stirred. That stirring is sacred. It's the signal that the divine is near, that the energy is in motion, that the structure of your life is beginning to reconfigure in ways your mind may not yet comprehend. Your body is a transmitter of divine frequency. Every thought you think, every emotion you feel, creates a signal that radiates from you into the quantum field. You are not just a physical being. You are electromagnetic, vibrational, energetic. The moment you change your internal state, you begin to shift the signal you are broadcasting to the universe. That signal is not passive, it is creative. It carries information that draws people, events, and possibilities into your life that match the frequency you're emitting. This means your body isn't separate from the divine. It is the instrument through which divine intelligence expresses itself. Your brain processes thought, but your heart is what amplifies it. When your brain and heart are in coherence, when your thoughts are aligned with elevated emotions like gratitude, love, and trust, you become biologically and energetically aligned with the miraculous. You literally begin to tune into a higher order of reality, a new timeline, a version of life where possibilities open. Most people try to change their lives by effort alone, pushing, controlling, chasing outcomes. But real transformation doesn't begin on the outside. It begins in the energetic signature you're emitting. If you're constantly broadcasting lack, fear, or doubt, you're attracting more of what confirms those frequencies. But if you shift your state, if you consciously feel abundance, peace, or joy before the circumstances change, you change the transmission, and the external must eventually match it. This isn't philosophy. It's how energy works. It's how intention collapses potential into form. You are an energetic being living in an energetic universe, and your body is the tuning device. When you understand this, you stop waiting for miracles and start becoming the environment where miracles naturally occur. You start broadcasting faith instead of fear, alignment instead of resistance, coherence instead of chaos. Miracles are born in alignment, not in desperation. Desperation is rooted in separation. It believes the thing you desire is far away, unreachable, or dependent on circumstances beyond your control. It carries the frequency of fear, lack, and urgency. When you operate from desperation, your energy is chaotic and contracted, and what you radiate into the field reflects that. The more you chase the miracle from that state, the more it eludes you, because the signal you're sending is one of not having. Alignment, on the other hand, is grounded in knowing. It means your internal state reflects the outcome you desire, even before it manifests in your physical world. You're no longer waiting for the miracle to feel whole, worthy, or joyful. You're embodying those emotions now. And in doing so, you become a vibrational match for the very reality you've been seeking. The universe doesn't respond to what you want. It responds to who you are being. To align means to quiet the noise, to regulate your nervous system, and to come back into coherence with your highest self. It's a process of remembering your connection with the divine source within you, and allowing that connection to guide your actions, thoughts, and emotions. In that space, you don't have to force outcomes. You become receptive. You trust the timing because you no longer feel separate from the intelligence that orchestrates all life. Miracles arise effortlessly in this state, not because you're lucky or chosen, but because you're in resonance. The field organizes itself around coherence. That's the nature of energy. It flows where there is order, clarity, and openness. Alignment is not passivity, it is power. It is the place from which transformation occurs without resistance, and where the impossible becomes inevitable. The unseen world shifts before the physical does. Everything that becomes visible first exists in an invisible realm of energy and information. Thought is a form of energy, emotion is energy in motion, and intention is the mechanism that organizes that energy into patterns. When you set an intention, when you hold a vision, when you feel a future experience before it arrives, You begin to influence the unseen layers of reality. What you cannot yet perceive with your senses is already taking form in the field. Most people are conditioned to only believe in what they can touch, measure, or explain. But the deeper truth is that the material world is simply a delayed reflection of energetic patterns. The physical is the final stage of creation, not the starting point. When a miracle occurs, it didn't suddenly happen out of nowhere. The alignment, the shift, the preparation, it was already in motion long before you could see it. You were already attracting it, becoming it, resonating with it in the invisible. The problem is, when people don't see immediate evidence, they assume nothing is happening. They give up, lower their expectations, and return to old habits. But what they fail to realize is that the delay is part of the design. It gives space for the inner work to unfold, for faith to be refined, for energy to stabilize, for you to become a match to the reality you've asked for. Patience, presence, and persistence are required when the evidence is still unseen. That's when the real test begins, not of effort, but of belief. Can you hold the vision when your senses contradict it? Can you trust the unseen as real, because in the quantum field all possibilities exist, and what you focus on, with elevated emotion and clear intention, begins to move toward you, unseen at first, but inevitable in time. Synchronicities are divine confirmations. They are not coincidences or random events. They are meaningful alignments between your internal state and the external world. When you begin to shift your energy, elevate your emotions, and hold a vision of a greater future, the universe responds, not always with loud, dramatic signs, but with subtle winks, patterns, and alignments that echo the new frequency you're radiating. These are messages from the field, indicators that you're on the right path, that your inner world and the divine intelligence around you are beginning to dance in harmony. You might think of someone and they call you. You might see repeating numbers at exactly the moment you were questioning your direction. A book falls into your hands with the answer you've been seeking. Or a conversation you overhear delivers the precise insight you needed to move forward. These are not accidents. They are signals that your consciousness is syncing with a higher intelligence, that you're stepping into resonance with the flow of your life's design. But these signs only become visible when you're aware. If you're consumed by fear or fixated on control, you'll miss them. Synchronicities exist in a frequency of openness, presence, and trust. They are subtle reflections of alignment, showing up when your mind and heart are attuned to possibility instead of limitation. The more you pay attention to them, the more they appear. The field responds to your recognition. It's as if life says, yes, you're listening, here's more. Synchronicities are the breadcrumbs that guide you back to your center, to your truth, to your path. They're not the miracle themselves, but they are the signals that the miracle is approaching. They are the quiet voice of the divine whispering through the fabric of ordinary moments, reminding you that something greater is always in motion. Faith is movement, not passive waiting. It's not about sitting still, hoping for something to change while staying the same inside. True faith is an act. It's the decision to walk forward even when the outcome is unclear, even when your current reality shows no signs of change. It's choosing to behave as if the miracle is already on its way, even when your senses tell you otherwise. Faith is not belief without evidence. It's belief in advance of evidence, a willingness to live from a future reality before it becomes visible. When you act with faith, you step into unknown territory. You invest your energy, your time, your focus into something that hasn't yet materialized. That movement signals to the universe that you trust the process, that you're not waiting to see something before you become it. You're willing to become it first. That energetic shift begins to rearrange the field around you. Life responds to action taken from conviction, not hesitation born of fear. Movement can look different depending on where you are. Sometimes it's starting the business with no guarantee of success. Sometimes it's forgiving someone without knowing if they'll ever change. Sometimes it's showing up every day in meditation, in practice, in presence, even when nothing seems to be happening. That consistency, that forward motion, tells the divine that you are aligning with the miracle, not resisting it with doubt. Most people wait for life to change before they change. Faith flips that order. It says, I'll move first, I'll trust first, I'll show up as the version of myself who already lives in the answer. That is what initiates the shift. Faith is a frequency, and when you embody it, you start attracting outcomes that match the level of certainty, trust, and courage you've chosen to walk in. Gratitude and love unlock the miraculous. These elevated emotional states are not just nice feelings. They are powerful energies that signal coherence within the body and alignment with the divine. When you feel genuine gratitude, even in the absence of a visible outcome, you're telling the universe that you trust the process, that you're already receiving, already whole, already connected to the outcome you seek. This shifts your energy from lack to fulfillment, from need to abundance, and that shift begins to influence the field around you. Love works the same way. When you radiate love, not just romantic love, but deep, unconditional love for life, for yourself, for others, you enter into a state of expansion. Love is the most harmonizing frequency available to us. It softens resistance, dissolves fear, and opens your heart to receive. In that state, the body heals faster, the mind becomes clearer, and your intuition sharpens. You're no longer forcing change. You're becoming the space where change naturally occurs. These emotions do not depend on external circumstances. In fact, their power lies in your ability to generate them internally, regardless of what's happening around you. When you begin each day in a state of gratitude and end each day in a state of love, you're training your nervous system, your brain chemistry, and your energy field to operate from a higher baseline. This creates a magnetic pull that draws in experiences, people, and outcomes that resonate with that frequency. You cannot access miracles from a place of fear, anger, or resentment. Those states close the heart and narrow your perception. But gratitude and love expand everything. They elevate your state of being, align you with divine intelligence, and open doors that effort alone could never reach. They are the keys that unlock the invisible flow of the miraculous. Your awareness creates access to new realities. What you are not aware of, you cannot change, and what you consistently observe begins to shift. Awareness is not simply noticing what's around you. It's becoming conscious of your internal world, your thoughts, emotions, and patterns, and recognizing how they are influencing your external experience. When you start to observe yourself without judgment, you step out of unconscious programming and into conscious creation. This is where transformation begins, not by reacting to life, but by realizing you are participating in its unfolding through your focus. The quantum field responds to attention. Where you place your awareness, you place your energy. If your attention is constantly on your limitations, your past, or your fears, you reinforce those patterns. But when you shift your awareness to possibility, healing, or a new future, you begin to collapse those potentials into form. You are not separate from the field, you are in dialogue with it. Every time you become more conscious, more present, more attuned to your higher self, you increase your capacity to shape the reality you experience. New realities are always available, but they exist outside the boundaries of your current identity. To access them, you have to become aware of the unconscious beliefs that keep you tied to the familiar. The moment you recognize a limiting pattern, you've created space between you and it. In that space, there's power. You can choose again, think differently, feel differently, and act in alignment with the future you desire. Awareness is not passive reflection, it is an act of creation. It opens the door to possibility, to miracles, to divine timing. The more aware you become, the more you notice the signs, the synchronicities, the nudges, and the inner promptings that lead you toward the life already waiting for you in the field. The feeling is the prayer. It's not just the words you say or the wishes you make, it's the emotion you embody as you hold your intention. Prayer, in its highest form, is a state of being where your heart and mind are united in elevated emotion and focused thought. When you feel the energy of what you desire as if it is already present, you send a powerful signal into the universe. This signal carries more weight than any spoken request because it communicates at a deeper energetic level. Most people think of prayer as asking from a place of lack, hoping that something outside of themselves will change their circumstances. But true prayer transcends desire and desperation. It is a vibration that matches the frequency of the miracle itself. When you feel gratitude, joy, peace, or love while holding your intention, you align yourself with the reality you want to experience. This alignment opens a channel between you and the creative intelligence of the universe. Feeling is the bridge between thought and manifestation. Thoughts alone are like seeds, but feelings are the sunlight and water that help those seeds grow. When you pray with feeling, you nourish the unseen potential inside you. Your body remembers that state of being, your nervous system tunes to it, and your brain creates new neural pathways that support your new reality. The coherence between your heart and brain amplifies the message, making it more likely that the field will respond. The challenge is to cultivate this feeling without depending on external evidence. That requires practice, presence, and a willingness to let go of control. The moment you surrender to the feeling of already having what you desire, you release resistance and invite the miracle to come. Feeling is not passive. It is an active creation, a vibrational prayer that calls forth transformation. You are a miracle in motion. From the moment you take your first breath, your very existence is a continuous unfolding of possibility and creation. Inside you lies an infinite well of potential, a spark of divine energy that is constantly expressing itself through your thoughts, emotions, and actions. Every cell in your body is orchestrated by this intelligence, working in harmony to sustain and evolve you. You are not separate from the miracle. You are the miracle, an ever-evolving expression of life itself. This understanding shifts everything. Instead of waiting for miracles to happen you begin to realize that you are the vehicle through which miracles flow. When you align your mind, heart, and body with this truth, you tap into a power that transcends limitations. Your energy becomes a catalyst for transformation, not only in your own life, but in the lives of those around you. Being a miracle in motion means embracing the journey of becoming. It means knowing that change is not only possible, but inevitable when you choose to step into the flow of creation consciously. Each thought you think, each feeling you cultivate, each action you take contributes to the unfolding of this miracle. You don't have to wait for the right moment or external validation. The moment is now, and you are ready. When you live from this awareness, fear loses its grip, doubt dissolves, and resistance melts away. You begin to see obstacles as opportunities for growth and setbacks as signals to adjust your course. You move with intention, grace, and confidence because you understand that you are co-creating your reality with the infinite intelligence of the universe. This is the essence of being a miracle in motion, a dynamic, ongoing creation that defies explanation but invites wonder.